First tonight, the woman who says she's been left disabled after a botched operation by a foreign doctor.
Karen Saunders went into the Luton and Dunstable hospital for an operation on a toe on her left foot. It was carried out by a French doctor brought in to reduce the waiting list, but he worked on the wrong toe. The hospital has now agreed to pay compensation and has scrapped the scheme to reduce the backlog of operations.
These are the pills Karen Saunders takes every day to try and ease her pain. 6 years ago, she needed an operation to remove a benign tumour and repair a dislocation on her fourth toe. It was carried out by a team of French surgeons at the Luton and Dunstable Hospital, drafted in to help reduce NHS waiting lists. It was supposed to be a simple 20-minute operation, but the doctors operated on the wrong toe, her big toe, and gave her a procedure to cure a bunion she says she never had.
I walked out the hospital and I should have been not walking at all on it. So, wrong advice, wrong job, and it's left me disabled.
Karen says the operation left her with permanent nerve damage. Despite corrective surgery, she sometimes walks with a stick. She now suffers from depression and, unable to work, she lost her job.
I was a confident, outgoing, full of life, and now I feel that I'm a miserable person in pain all the time.
Well, we did ask the hospital to give us an interview, but they have declined our invitation. Instead, they've given us this statement, and in it, it says the hospital regrets that a patient experienced problems with her surgery. In this case, the hospital admitted liability and out-of-court settlement was agreed with the patient. It goes on to say that the hospital has not employed locums from the agency that brought in the surgeons since, and the waiting list initiative has not been repeated. That settlement for Karen was £282,000, but she's not alone. Carolyn Lowe, her solicitor, has represented 3 other patients who complained about the same team.
There's been several cases that I've dealt with that have come out of the Luton and Dunstable Hospital in relation to these doctors. There was one case of a young girl whose foot was pretty badly damaged by one of the French surgeons, and she's been left with a permanent disability as well.
Tonight, the General Medical Council would not confirm whether the surgeon was being investigated, but said he was still registered to practice here in the UK.
I blame the government because this is where it came from. It was a government initiative. It has drastically changed my life, and I feel like I've wasted sort of 6 years of my life, and now I've got to pace the rest of my life. And I'm in pain 24/7.
Karen Saunders ending that report. As troops from our region prepare for a major offensive against the Taliban in Helmand, families of local soldiers who are on the front line are taking their campaign to Downing Street. They want the troops to get recognition for repeated tours of Afghanistan, rather than have one medal for the whole campaign.
One medal for one war. Royal Anglian Private James Bowman is now serving in Afghanistan. But like many soldiers, he's been before. Some are on their 8th tour. So is it fair that troops in the toughest and longest campaign for half a century should get just one operational medal? James' fiancée thinks not. Lauren Fuller has helped to set up an online petition, Medals for Soldiers, and they're taking their fight to number 10.
Somebody could have been out there 4-6 times, and you're only going to know because you've got one medal that you could think they've only been out there once. These boys have volunteered to go out and fight for their country. They weren't forced to do it. So, let's give something back to them.
In the military, you're eligible for 2 types of medals. Those for individual acts of bravery or leadership, like the Victoria Cross, the Military Cross, and so on. Then there's the Operational Service Medal. Anyone who served in the war zone for more than a month is entitled to this, but you only get it once, no matter how long the campaign. British troops have been in Afghanistan for 9 years.
Traditionally, we were tight on medals. I just worry about becoming too lax. I think we just need a sense of balance. 8 medals for 8 tours, probably not. Some way of differentiating a medal to demonstrate how much you've done, I'd certainly back that.
And so would Kevin McHenry, who lives in Suffolk. He says the dangers faced by soldiers now are far greater than when he was with the Royal Anglians.
When I went to Kabul in 2002, it's a very different campaign to what they're facing now. And I think that deserves some special recognition. Maybe a number on that medal indicating how many tours a person had done might be appropriate.
Paras serving in Sierra Leone were among the first to get the Operational Service Medal. Campaigners say fighting in Afghanistan merits higher recognition. But what about those who served in the Great War, one of the bloodiest in history?
Basically, our soldiers got one British War Medal, which actually entailed all of those different battles. And in the Second World War, a soldier could have fought at El Alamein and other major battles, and all he actually got was an Africa Star.
Alongside the OSM, there is now a medal for long service, the Accumulated Campaign Service Medal. But it'll take more than 1,000 days, 3 years of campaigns to earn it. And these soldiers may have left the army long before they reach that milestone. Alex Dunlop, BBC Look East, Norfolk.
Dozens of women who've been on hunger strike for 6 days at the Yarl detention centre in Bedfordshire will be the subject of a debate in the Commons tonight. The women are refusing to eat in protest at the time they're being held. The local MP, Alistair Burt, will tell the House the reasons for the protest must be taken seriously. Let's get the details now from Anna Todd.
Well, Stuart, it's difficult to say for certain, but we've heard from people inside Yarlswood that there are now 60 women who are refusing to eat. And the reason for this is that they say they're being held there too long before their cases are processed. On Monday, they claimed the situation escalated when many women who were attempting to move around the centre were held in a corridor for around 8 hours. Some say they were treated aggressively, although the Home Office claims the protest was peaceful. Now, earlier on, I spoke to a detainee called Denise McNeil. She's a 35-year-old Jamaican. She is married to a British citizen. She has one child, and she's been held at Yarlswood since March 2009. She says that they're on hunger strike to gain attention. She's been refused bail 7 times, and she says she didn't expect this kind of treatment in the UK.
Since I've been here, you know, I've suffered a lot. And I just can't think about it at times because, you know, I just don't know what to think sometimes.
Well, it's this situation, the length of time that people are being kept at Yarlswood, that Alistair Burt, the MP for North East Bedfordshire, is highlighting in the House of Commons this evening. He says he doesn't condone the hunger strikes, but he says the reasons behind them need to be examined.
There's some long-term concerns about the way in which the asylum process is handled, the long delays in dealing with cases, which the Ombudsman reported on last week, and the way in which the frustrations build up, which results in issues like the protests we've seen over the past few days. The system has been off track for many years. There's still not a grip being taken of it.
Well, earlier on we spoke to Phil Willis, the Immigration Minister, who was on a visit to Norwich, and he told us that Yarlswood is a good, rigorously monitored facility. He said the protest was illogical, with the reasons for the delays in processing cases, in some cases, in the detainees' own hands.
If people are being kept in Yarlswood, and on the whole the vast majority are there just for a few days, but if they're being kept there, it's because they or their representatives are frustrating the legal system. I can't give in to that, otherwise we couldn't have a managed migration system. Some people will go to extreme lengths to remain in our country.
Well, the women involved in this protest say that they'll continue their hunger strike until their voices are heard. Meanwhile, Denise McNeil, the Jamaican lady I spoke to earlier, is still waiting almost a year after she went to Yarlswood for her case to be heard.
Anna, thank you very much.